I thought I was just attending a joyful family celebration, but the moment I saw my name tag, everything changed. Eleanor adjusted her pearl necklace nervously as she stepped into the grand ballroom of the country club, the scent of fresh roses and polished wood filling the air. It was a sunny afternoon in suburban New Jersey, and she could hear the soft hum of conversation and laughter as guests gathered for her granddaughter Lily's wedding. She had spent months helping organize the reception, coordinating with caterers, florists, and the event planner, and had covered a large portion of the expenses herself, believing that family celebrations were moments to cherish. Eleanor smiled at familiar faces, greeting old friends and distant relatives she hadn't seen in years, all the while feeling a swell of pride as she glanced at Lily, radiant in her ivory gown, standing beside her new husband. As she walked past the rows of elegantly set tables, Eleanor noticed the neatly arranged name tags, each delicately tied with satin ribbon, and then her eyes landed on hers. She froze, a tight knot forming in her stomach as she read the words printed in bold letters. The old lady who's paying for everything. Her hand trembled slightly, and a flush of heat crept up her neck. At that precise moment, Eleanor felt a mix of disbelief, embarrassment, and anger. She had always been the matriarch, the one who quietly held the family together, often sacrificing her own comfort to ensure others' happiness. Yet here, her generosity had been twisted into a public joke. She looked around discreetly, searching for any sign that someone else might have noticed, and caught the faintest smirk on Margaret's face, her daughter-in-law, who was chatting with a group of cousins nearby. Eleanor's heart sank, but she forced herself to take a deep breath, adjusting her shoulders and lifting her chin. She reminded herself that losing composure would only give Margaret the satisfaction of seeing her flustered. As she navigated through the crowd, Eleanor's eyes took in subtle cues she had missed before. The way Margaret whispered to some of the other guests, the overly familiar tone that seemed more calculating than friendly, the slight dismissive gestures whenever Eleanor offered help. She realized that this event, which should have been about celebrating love and family, was also a stage for underlying tensions and hidden agendas. Still, Eleanor's resolve hardened. She would not allow a careless remark or an ungrateful attitude to overshadow the joy of her granddaughter's special day. Instead, she decided to move forward with quiet dignity, smiling politely, engaging in light conversation, and observing everything with keen awareness, knowing that each interaction would reveal more about the true nature of those around her. Eleanor felt a mix of pride and sorrow as she took a seat at her assigned table, still under the watchful eyes of friends and family. The name tag had been a sting, but it also served as a lens, sharpening her perception of the dynamics at play, revealing Margaret's opportunistic tendencies without confronting her immediately. She sipped her iced tea, carefully noting the laughter, the clinking of glasses, and the warm sunlight streaming through the large windows, all the while planning how she would navigate the remainder of the day, protect her own dignity, and maintain the sense of control she had always valued. The moment was a delicate balance between outward grace and inward scrutiny, and Eleanor was determined to hold it, fully aware that the family celebration she had envisioned would be layered with unexpected revelations and quiet tests of character. As Eleanor settled into her seat, she could not help but reflect on the months leading up to this wedding. Every detail had been meticulously planned, from the flower arrangements to the seating chart, and she had poured both her time and her resources into making sure Lily's special day would be flawless. She had chosen the soft lavender napkins herself, insisted on the imported glassware that sparkled under the afternoon sunlight, and even personally coordinated the timing of the live band. Eleanor had done all of this quietly, expecting nothing in return, believing that family celebrations were meant to be moments of pure joy. Yet now, sitting at the table with her iced tea in hand, she realized that some of the people she trusted most were capable of turning generosity into mockery. She glanced toward Margaret again, noting the subtle way she leaned toward certain relatives, speaking just loudly enough for Eleanor to catch snippets of conversation. There was a sharpness in Margaret's tone, a controlled amusement that Eleanor recognized all too well from past interactions, moments when her daughter-in-law had tried to assert influence over decisions that were not hers to make. Eleanor's mind wandered back to the brunch the weekend before, when Margaret had criticized the catering choices under the guise of concern, insisting on substitutions that would conveniently shift costs elsewhere. Eleanor now understood that this wedding was another stage for Margaret to showcase self-interest while cloaking it in politeness. Despite the sting of the name tag, Eleanor reminded herself that she had built a reputation for calm composure, the ability to navigate difficult social situations with grace. She watched the other guests, noting who seemed genuinely pleased for Lily and who appeared to be merely observing the unfolding drama with detached curiosity. The gentle hum of conversations and the occasional clink of glassware created a backdrop that contrasted sharply with the tension she felt in her chest. Eleanor decided to focus on positive interactions, offering compliments where appropriate, making subtle remarks to engage friends and relatives, and maintaining her poise. She knew that every smile, every nod, and every polite exchange would be observed, interpreted, and perhaps even tested by those around her. Eleanor also considered Lily, her granddaughter, who seemed blissfully unaware of the undercurrents at play, and felt a protective surge of affection. She would not allow the day to be marred for Lily, and yet, she would not ignore the dynamics that had become painfully clear. With quiet determination, Eleanor resolved to pay attention to every detail, from seating arrangements to subtle gestures of acknowledgement or avoidance, understanding that this day, while meant to celebrate love, also revealed much about character, loyalty, and respect within the family. Each toast, each laugh, and each whispered comment became a piece of the larger picture, and Eleanor committed herself to observing, learning, and preparing for the moments when her discernment would matter most. She sipped her iced tea again, the cool liquid offering a small measure of calm, and allowed herself to settle into the dual role she had always managed so well. The matriarch who gives generously, and the keen observer who never misses the truths hidden beneath polite smiles and carefully chosen words. As the ceremony progressed, Eleanor observed the small, meaningful moments that made the event so special, from the flower girl shyly dropping petals along the aisle to the string quartet playing softly in the corner. She noticed how Lily's new husband, Michael, gently adjusted her veil and whispered something that made her laugh, and Eleanor felt a swell of happiness for the young couple. Yet, even amidst this joy, her awareness of the undercurrents in the room remained sharp. Margaret continued to circulate, offering comments that seemed helpful on the surface but carried subtle insinuations designed to elevate herself and downplay Eleanor's contributions. Eleanor kept her expressions neutral, nodding politely, while internally cataloging each interaction, realizing that every smile Margaret forced, every compliment given in a slightly condescending tone, was a calculated move. Eleanor also paid attention to the guests, some of whom caught her eye and offered warm smiles of appreciation, silently acknowledging the effort she had put into the celebration. These small gestures of recognition provided her with reassurance and a sense of quiet satisfaction. As the reception transitioned into dinner, Eleanor helped guide a few late arrivals to their seats, all the while observing how the staff accommodated requests, the timing of the courses, and the seating arrangement that Margaret had subtly attempted to influence. Eleanor felt a mixture of amusement and determination. She could see Margaret's intentions, but chose not to confront them publicly, knowing that patience and strategy would serve her far better than immediate reaction. She sipped her sparkling water, noting the sunlight reflecting off the polished silverware and the vibrant colors of the centerpieces, all of which she had a hand in selecting. Each detail reminded her of the care she had taken and the vision she had for making the wedding a harmonious, memorable event. Between courses, Eleanor engaged in light conversation with relatives she had not seen in years, sharing memories and laughter, carefully balancing warmth with discretion. She subtly directed attention to the young couple, ensuring that the focus remained on Lily and Michael rather than the ongoing social maneuvering. As the evening progressed, Eleanor's confidence grew, knowing that she had maintained her dignity while observing and understanding the true character of those around her. She felt empowered, recognizing that her calm composure and attentiveness allowed her to navigate the complex social dynamics of the family with grace. Eleanor concluded this part of the evening with a sense of quiet triumph, having upheld both her values and the celebratory spirit of the day. aware that the remainder of the wedding would provide further opportunities to observe, respond, and continue protecting the happiness of her granddaughter while managing her own presence with poise and subtle influence. As the evening sun dipped lower, casting a warm golden glow across the ballroom, Eleanor noticed the subtle shift in the atmosphere. Guests began to relax more openly, laughter becoming a little louder and conversations a little more animated. She observed Lily and Michael circulating among friends and family, exchanging hugs and heartfelt congratulations. Eleanor took this moment to quietly appreciate the success of the day so far, knowing that the careful planning and her personal contributions had made this event smooth and memorable. Margaret, meanwhile, continued to move through the room with her practiced poise, offering polite remarks and smiles that did not quite reach her eyes. Eleanor noted these moments with a careful eye, recognizing patterns of behavior she had witnessed over the years: the tendency to seek attention, the subtle efforts to assert control, and the occasional manipulation cloaked in civility. Instead of allowing these observations to disrupt her peace, Eleanor decided to engage more intentionally with guests, striking up conversations with distant relatives she had not spoken to in years, complimenting them on their attire or recalling shared memories that brought smiles and light laughter. Each interaction served as a reminder of the bonds that truly mattered, reinforcing her role as a respected matriarch whose presence was appreciated beyond any material contribution. Eleanor's attention to detail remained keen. She noticed the delicate placement of utensils, the smooth service of the catering staff, and the soft lighting that made every table shine. Each small detail reflected her commitment to creating a harmonious environment, and she allowed herself a quiet moment of satisfaction. As dessert was served, Eleanor subtly guided conversations back to positive reflections about Lily and Michael, ensuring the newlyweds remained the focal point of the evening. She felt a sense of pride in maintaining an atmosphere of celebration and warmth, balancing attentiveness with discretion. Even when Margaret attempted to redirect attention or make subtle comments designed to draw notice to herself, Eleanor remained composed, responding with graciousness and tact. She knew that her calm demeanor and quiet confidence spoke volumes, influencing the room in ways that were both subtle and powerful. Eleanor observed the interactions between different family members, noting who seemed genuinely engaged, who was merely observing, and who might be aligning themselves with Margaret's agenda. With this insight, she felt prepared to navigate the remainder of the evening with strategy and poise, ensuring that Lily's special day remained joyful and memorable. The sense of empowerment Eleanor experienced was quiet but deeply satisfying. She had managed to maintain her dignity, protect her granddaughter's happiness, and remain acutely aware of the complex social dynamics unfolding around her. With each passing moment, Eleanor's ability to observe, respond, and guide the evening with elegance reinforced her role not just as a host, but as the steady, wise presence that kept the family celebration both meaningful and harmonious. As the evening progressed, Eleanor found herself moving gracefully among the guests, offering light-hearted comments and gentle smiles, all the while observing the subtle social dynamics unfolding around her. She noticed how certain relatives lingered closer to Margaret, seemingly drawn to her confident presence. Yet Eleanor could sense the undercurrents of tension beneath the polite smiles and courteous nods. She took careful mental notes of these interactions, understanding that family gatherings often revealed more in quiet gestures and fleeting expressions than in overt words. The dessert course arrived, and Eleanor took a delicate slice of lemon tart, savoring the perfect balance of sweetness and tang, all the while maintaining an attentive eye on the room. She observed Lily laughing easily at a story Michael shared, her joy untainted by the subtle currents of manipulation that Eleanor had detected. Eleanor felt a protective warmth for her granddaughter, knowing that these moments of pure happiness were precisely what she had hoped to foster through her efforts. Margaret continued her orchestrations, subtly steering conversations, positioning herself to be noticed, and occasionally glancing at Eleanor with a hint of amusement that did not go unnoticed. Eleanor, however, met each glance with calm composure, offering polite nods and measured smiles, aware that a measured response often carried more power than immediate confrontation. She reflected on past family events, recognizing patterns that had repeated over the years, and understood that patience, observation, and quiet confidence were her strongest tools. Eleanor engaged in conversations with other guests, subtly highlighting positive stories about Lily and Michael, ensuring that attention remained on the newlyweds and not on any underlying social maneuvering. She complimented a few family members on their attire and shared memories of earlier family gatherings, weaving warmth and connection into her interactions. Each small exchange reinforced her role as a respected matriarch, someone whose presence added calm, dignity, and thoughtful guidance to the celebration. Eleanor also observed the staff with a keen eye, noting how seamlessly they managed service and timing, appreciating the precision that contributed to the overall harmony of the event. She adjusted her posture, held her head high, and allowed herself a quiet satisfaction in knowing that her foresight and efforts had created a space where joy could flourish despite the subtle tensions at play. As the evening moved towards speeches and toasts, Eleanor listened attentively, noting the genuine expressions of affection and the occasional carefully chosen words that revealed personality and intention. She remained poised, ready to respond with grace if necessary, yet confident that her composed presence and thoughtful observation ensured she maintained both dignity and influence. Eleanor felt a deep sense of accomplishment and empowerment, understanding that her quiet leadership, unwavering attention to detail, and measured engagement allowed her to navigate complex family dynamics successfully while preserving the happiness of those she loved. As the evening continued, Eleanor noticed the shift in conversations around the dance floor as guests began to mingle more freely, laughter growing louder and smiles more frequent. She observed Lily and Michael sharing a private dance, their movements graceful and coordinated, a testament to the love and connection they shared. Eleanor felt a deep sense of satisfaction watching them, knowing that her careful planning had contributed to such a joyful and seamless celebration. Margaret lingered nearby, attempting to insert herself into conversations with key family members, her voice polite but tinged with subtle self-interest. Eleanor, however, maintained her calm composure, engaging with other guests and steering discussions toward shared memories, humorous anecdotes, and positive reflections on Lily and Michael's journey together. She offered compliments, expressed gratitude, and recounted stories that drew genuine laughter and warm reactions, reinforcing the atmosphere of celebration while quietly neutralizing any potential tension. Eleanor also observed the children, who darted between tables with playful energy, their excitement adding a lighthearted and genuine quality to the evening. She felt a renewed appreciation for these small, sincere moments, understanding that they were the heart of family gatherings and a reminder of what truly mattered. As the band played a gentle waltz, Eleanor guided a few older relatives who were less steady on their feet, ensuring their comfort and safety while subtly highlighting her role as a considerate and capable matriarch. She took careful note of the interactions between different family groups, noticing which members were genuinely engaged, which were passive observers, and which, like Margaret, seemed to navigate the event with calculated intent. Eleanor's strategic observation allowed her to remain several steps ahead, prepared to influence the flow of interactions subtly and maintain a sense of balance and harmony. She also took moments to appreciate the aesthetic details, the soft lighting reflecting off the crystal chandeliers, the vibrant floral arrangements that added color and warmth, and the perfectly arranged tables and linens that contributed to the elegance of the setting. Every element reinforced the care and attention that she had invested, providing a quiet sense of pride and accomplishment. Eleanor continued to circulate gently among the guests, always maintaining an approachable demeanor, engaging with kindness, and ensuring that attention and appreciation remained centered on Lily and Michael. She observed the staff as well, noting the seamless coordination and attentive service that contributed to a smooth and enjoyable evening. The combination of careful planning, graceful execution, and mindful engagement allowed Eleanor to remain a stabilizing presence, balancing joy, observation, and discreet influence while ensuring that the celebration remained a heartfelt and memorable occasion for all in attendance. As the reception moved toward the latter part of the evening, Eleanor found herself observing the subtle shifts in energy across the room. The initial excitement of the ceremony had softened into a warm, gentle hum of conversation, punctuated by bursts of laughter and the clinking of glasses. She noticed how Lily, radiant and joyful, interacted with her friends and family, her smile genuine and her excitement palpable. Eleanor felt a swell of pride in her heart, knowing that the care and attention she had poured into planning this day had contributed to such an atmosphere of happiness. Margaret, ever vigilant in her efforts to assert presence, continued to move gracefully among the guests, offering compliments and making small talk with an undertone of calculated charm. Eleanor observed these actions with quiet acuity, noting the nuances of tone and expression that revealed more than the words themselves. Rather than confronting Margaret directly, Eleanor maintained her composure, engaging in conversations with other relatives, sharing anecdotes, recalling cherished family moments, and expressing genuine interest in their lives. Her manner was calm and deliberate, reinforcing her position as a wise and considerate matriarch without diminishing the celebratory tone of the evening. Eleanor also took note of the younger guests, particularly the children, whose playful energy and laughter brought lightness to the room. She allowed herself a small, private smile at their joy, recognizing that these genuine moments often held more meaning than the orchestrated elements of the event. As the live band began a soft, melodic tune, Eleanor found herself guiding a few older family members to a space where they could enjoy the music comfortably, all while maintaining her elegant posture and courteous demeanor. She reflected on the dynamics at play, observing who engaged genuinely, who observed passively, and who, like Margaret, maneuvered subtly to be noticed. Each observation informed her strategy for navigating the remainder of the evening, balancing attentiveness with discretion. Eleanor appreciated the visual details of the setting, from the twinkling fairy lights adorning the ceiling to the meticulously arranged floral centerpieces and the crisp, clean table linens. Each element was a testament to careful planning and thoughtful consideration, reinforcing the sense of pride she carried quietly. Within, as she sipped her sparkling water, Eleanor felt a deep sense of empowerment and clarity, understanding that her composure, attentiveness, and graceful interactions allowed her to influence the atmosphere positively. She continued to circulate, offering warmth, attention, and gentle humor, ensuring that Lily and Michael remained at the center of focus and that the spirit of celebration, connection, and familial respect endured throughout the evening. As the evening progressed into the later hours, Eleanor found a quiet moment near the edge of the dance floor to observe the ebb and flow of the celebration. Guests had loosened their formality, laughter carrying more freely across the room, and the warmth of family connections was evident in every shared glance and gentle touch. She noticed how Lily and Michael interacted with an ease that reflected their deep affection and excitement for the future, their joy radiating throughout the space. Eleanor felt a swell of pride and satisfaction, recognizing that her careful planning and attentive presence had helped cultivate this positive atmosphere. Margaret continued to circulate, her politeness impeccable yet occasionally pierced with subtle attempts to draw attention or assert influence over conversations, but Eleanor met each instance with composed grace, choosing to engage where her presence could positively shape interactions and deflect tension without confrontation. Eleanor moved among smaller clusters of relatives, offering warm conversation, humorous anecdotes, and gentle compliments, all designed to foster connection and focus attention on the newlyweds rather than the undercurrents of social maneuvering. She observed the children, their energy and playful antics a joyful counterpoint to the structured elements of the reception, allowing their laughter to remind her of the simple and sincere joys that family gatherings should nurture. Eleanor also remained attentive to the details of the setting, the soft glow of lights reflecting off crystal glassware, the carefully arranged floral centerpieces, and the pristine linens that contributed to the overall elegance of the room. Each element served as a testament to her planning and consideration, reinforcing her sense of quiet accomplishment. As a new song began, Eleanor guided a few older guests to a comfortable space to enjoy the music, demonstrating her attentiveness and poise while maintaining her role as a considerate matriarch. Throughout these moments, she continued to observe the subtleties of human behavior, noting expressions, tones, and gestures that conveyed intentions and feelings often unspoken. Eleanor's ability to balance engagement with observation allowed her to influence the mood and flow of the evening delicately, ensuring that Lily and Michael remained the focus of attention while maintaining a harmonious environment. Every interaction she participated in, every smile she offered, and every compliment she gave reinforced her quiet authority and thoughtful guidance. By maintaining her composure, attentiveness, and subtle influence, Eleanor ensured that the remainder of the evening remained joyful, graceful, and celebratory, leaving a lasting impression of warmth, dignity, and care on all who attended. As the evening began to wind down, Eleanor took a moment to step back and observe the reception from a distance, appreciating how smoothly the event had unfolded despite the subtle undercurrents she had noticed earlier. The soft lighting from the chandeliers cast a warm, inviting glow over the room, illuminating the joyful faces of friends and family as they mingled, laughed, and shared in the celebration of Lily and Michael's new life together. Eleanor felt a quiet sense of accomplishment, knowing that her attention to every detail, from the floral arrangements to the careful coordination of the schedule, had contributed to this seamless and heartfelt gathering. Margaret, still attempting to assert presence and influence, engaged with various guests, but Eleanor could see that her subtle maneuvers were increasingly less effective as Eleanor's composed and gracious demeanor commanded genuine respect and attention. Eleanor moved gently through the room, offering polite conversation, sharing memories, and complimenting guests, reinforcing connections and highlighting the joy of the newlyweds. She also kept a careful eye on Lily, ensuring her granddaughter remained at the center of celebration, smiling and interacting with ease and happiness. The children played nearby, their laughter and playful antics adding lightness and authenticity to the event, reminding Eleanor of the true essence of family gatherings. Eleanor's strategic observation allowed her to anticipate potential tensions and manage them discreetly, maintaining a sense of harmony and warmth throughout the room. She appreciated the subtle beauty of the reception, noting the crisp linens, the carefully selected centerpieces, and the perfectly arranged table settings, all of which contributed to a polished and elegant atmosphere. As she sipped her sparkling water, Eleanor reflected on the strength and composure she had maintained, understanding that her presence had quietly guided the tone of the evening, ensuring that joy, connection, and familial respect prevailed. Each interaction she engaged in, whether offering a warm smile, a thoughtful comment, or attentive listening, served to reinforce the celebratory spirit and support the sense of togetherness that she had envisioned. Eleanor felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that her careful planning, attentive observation, and graceful engagement had protected the happiness of her granddaughter and fostered an environment where everyone could enjoy the occasion fully. As the evening drew to its final moments, Eleanor stood quietly near the edge of the room, content in the knowledge that she had upheld both her dignity and her role as a respected matriarch, leaving a lasting impression of warmth, elegance, and thoughtful leadership on all who attended.